Hey friends, and welcome back to Learn English Podcast Every Day. It's so good to have you here again, settled into your quiet space, ready to gently open your mind to the beautiful world of the English language. This podcast is a peaceful haven, a place where we explore English not through rigid rules or stressful tests, but through calm stories, soft reflections, and shared moments. We truly believe that learning can be a deeply peaceful and personal journey, and our goal is to make your English feel more natural, more like a gentle whisper in your ear rather than a loud demand. So, if you find a moment of peace, a new word, or a sense of confidence blossoming in your heart as you listen to this episode, I would be so deeply grateful if you considered liking this podcast, subscribing to join our gentle learning community, or even leaving a kind comment. Your thoughts mean so much, and they help us continue to create this calm space for English learners everywhere. Now, get comfortable, maybe pour some tea, and let's begin. Have you ever had a dream? A vivid dream where you were speaking English effortlessly? Perhaps you were chatting with someone or navigating a foreign city, and the words just flowed naturally and beautifully, without any struggle. I remember a dream like that once, where I was in a cozy cafe, ordering coffee in perfect English, feeling completely at ease. When I woke up, there was a fleeting sense of disappointment that it wasn't real, but also a spark of curiosity. What if somehow we could bring that ease, that natural flow of language into our waking lives? This brings us to a fascinating idea, one that sounds almost magical. Learn English while you sleep and wake up fluent. It's a phrase that sparks so much wonder, doesn't it? The thought of simply closing your eyes, drifting off to sleep, and waking up with a stronger grasp of English. For many years, this concept felt like something from a science fiction movie, a secret shortcut to fluency. But what if there's more to it than just fantasy? What if our amazing brains can indeed continue learning, even when we're deep in slumber? Let's explore this together. Gently. The idea we're talking about is often called sleep learning, or more formally, hypnopedia. Now, it's very important to understand something right from the start. Sleep learning is not a magic wand. It won't instantly make you fluent in English if you've never studied a word. It's not about putting on an audio track of entirely new, complex grammar lessons and expecting to wake up understanding everything. That's simply not how our brains work, especially not in our sleep. Think of it more as a quiet, gentle gardener tending to seeds you've already planted. Sleep learning means reinforcing information you've already encountered while you were awake. It's about passively listening to words, phrases, or stories that are already somewhat familiar to you, allowing your brain to subtly re-engage with them while you rest. It's a supportive tool, a quiet helper in your language journey, not the journey itself. It's less about active study and more about subtle, subconscious absorption, letting the language gently wash over you. Scientifically, this idea isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. Our brains are incredibly active even when we're asleep. In fact, sleep is a profoundly important time for our brain's health and function. During certain stages of sleep, particularly during what's known as REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, our brains are busy with something truly remarkable: memory consolidation. This is the process where your brain takes the experiences, information, and emotions from your waking day and sorts them, files them away, and strengthens them. It's like your brain is cleaning up its desk, organizing all the papers, and making sure the important ones are kept safe and sound. It's actively reviewing and replaying neural patterns from your day, especially those related to learning and new experiences. Studies have actually shown fascinating results. For instance, if you learn a new set of words or phrases during the day, and then you hear those very same words or sentences containing them again, quietly while you sleep, your brain is more likely to remember them better when you wake up. It's not that you're actively studying in your sleep, but rather that this gentle re-exposure helps to cement those memories, to make the connections between words stronger and more durable. It's as if your sleeping brain is saying, yes, these words were important today. Let's make sure we don't forget them. This passive repetition, especially with content that's already been introduced, seems to give your memory an extra boost, a soft nudge towards retention. So, what can sleep learning actually help you with? Well, it can be wonderfully effective at reinforcing vocabulary you've already studied during the day. Imagine you learned 10 new words today in your English class or from a podcast. Listening to those same words or sentences containing them while you sleep can help improve your word recall. You might find that the next day, those words feel a little more natural, a little easier to access in your mind, perhaps even appearing more readily when you try to speak. It can also significantly improve your listening comfort. The more you hear the natural sounds, intonation, and rhythm of English, even passively, the more familiar your brain becomes with them. This builds a kind of quiet confidence, an emotional familiarity with the language that makes it feel less foreign and more like a gentle, reassuring presence. This deepens your bond with English, making it feel less like a rigid system and more like a natural part of your inner world. And yes, it certainly enhances memory consolidation, helping your brain to work on strengthening those language pathways while you dream, making your effort during the day pay off even more. But, and this is crucial, it's vital to understand what sleep learning cannot do. It cannot teach you complex grammar rules from scratch. If you're struggling with the nuances of the present perfect or conditional tenses, simply listening to explanations while you sleep won't magically make them clear. Grammar requires active engagement, conscious understanding, and deliberate practice. It's about building a mental framework which requires your full, waking attention. Sleep learning also cannot make you truly fluent without active speaking practice. Language is about connection, about expressing yourself, about interacting with others. You can't learn to ride a bicycle just by watching videos of people riding bicycles. You have to get on the bike and try, stumble, and eventually ride. The same is true for speaking English. This passive listening provides a foundation, but the active building comes from speaking. It also cannot help you master completely new content. If you've never encountered a word or concept before, your sleeping brain isn't going to process it as a new lesson. It's designed to reprocess and strengthen what's already there, not introduce entirely novel information. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, sleep learning should never replace active learning during the day. It's a supplement, a gentle nudge, a quiet friend to your studies, not a replacement for focused study, reading, writing, and speaking. Active engagement is where true learning and progress happen. Think of sleep learning as a calm, backstage crew, setting the stage for your performance the next day, not the main actor itself. It's a beautiful helper, a quiet assistant, but your active efforts are still the main engine of your progress. The emotional connection to memory is also very important here. Our brains are wired to remember things that have an emotional meaning or significance. So, if the content you're listening to is calm, perhaps accompanied by soft, soothing music, and evokes a feeling of peace or gentle focus, it becomes more sticky for your brain. Repetition combined with emotion creates stronger memory formation. It's not about memorizing facts dryly. It's about building a warm, gentle relationship with the language, allowing it to sink into your subconscious in a comforting way. So, as we prepare to think about practical steps, remember, we're not chasing a miracle. We're embracing a subtle, gentle way to support our English journey, allowing our subconscious mind to softly reinforce the beautiful seeds of language we've planted during our waking hours. It's about kindness to your brain, giving it a peaceful way to deepen its understanding, even when you're dreaming. As we gently drift further into this fascinating world of sleep learning, let's pause for a moment and explore a few key words. Words that can help us understand this process even more deeply. Think of these as little lanterns guiding our way through the soft darkness of the night, helping us to see clearly what's happening in our amazing brains. When you hear these words, I invite you to softly repeat them after me, allowing their sound to settle into your mind, just like a gentle whisper in the quiet of the evening. Our first word, one we've already touched upon, is hypnopedia. Please say it softly with me. Hypnopedia. This word sounds a little scientific, doesn't it? Hypnopedia simply refers to the idea of learning or reinforcing information while you are sleeping, often through listening to audio. It combines hypnos, which means sleep, and paideia, which means education or teaching. So it literally means sleep teaching. But as we discussed, it's not really teaching something new. It's more about strengthening what's already there. For example, after studying her English vocabulary all day, she hoped that using hypnopedia would help her remember the words better. Or, imagine this. Many people are curious about hypnopedia as a way to enhance their language skills. It's a very calm and subtle process, like a gentle breeze rustling leaves helping information settle in. The next important word for our journey is reinforce. Let's try it together slowly. Reinforce. To reinforce. Something means to strengthen it, to make it more firm, more solid. Think of building a wall and adding extra support to make it stronger, more stable. In the context of learning, when we reinforce something, we are making our memory of it stronger, less likely to fade away. Sleep learning doesn't teach you completely new things, but it's wonderful at helping to reinforce what you've already encountered. For instance, listening to familiar English phrases while sleeping can reinforce your daytime learning. Or, the teacher encouraged her students to review the grammar rules to reinforce their understanding before the test. It's like adding an extra layer of glue to your memories, making them stick better. Now, let's consider consolidation. Take a deep, slow breath and say it with me. Consolidation. Consolidation is a truly beautiful word when we talk about our brains. It means the process of making something solid or combining separate things into a single, more stable whole. In neuroscience, memory consolidation is a key function of sleep. It's when your brain takes all the new information and experiences from your day and transforms them into long-term memories. It's like your brain is quietly organizing all the thoughts and facts you learned, tidying them up and placing them in the right folders so you can easily find them later. Imagine this. During deep sleep, your brain works on memory consolidation, making new English words more permanent. Or, she felt that listening to the podcast helped with the consolidation of her vocabulary from the English class. It's a natural, quiet process that happens as you rest, weaving your new knowledge into the fabric of your mind. Our next phrase is passive listening. Say it softly. Passive listening. This phrase describes a very gentle way of engaging with sounds. Passive listening means hearing something without actively trying to understand every single word or analyze the content. You're simply letting the sounds wash over you without intense focus or effort. When we talk about sleep learning, we're talking about passive listening, so you're not trying to take notes or translate. You're simply allowing the English sounds to be present in your environment, allowing your brain to process them subtly in the background. For example, for effective sleep learning, it's best to engage in passive listening to familiar English content. Or, while driving, many people enjoy passive listening to podcasts or music. It's about letting the language flow around you without the pressure of active study. Following this, let's think about subconscious absorption. Let's try saying these words slowly. Subconscious absorption. This phrase describes how your brain can take in information without you being consciously aware of it. Your subconscious mind is the part of your mind that is not currently in your active awareness, but still influences your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Absorption means taking something in, soaking it up, like a sponge soaking up water. So, subconscious absorption is when your brain quietly takes in information without you even noticing it happening. It's a gentle, almost invisible process that occurs during sleep learning, allowing the language to sink deeply into your mind. For instance, through subconscious absorption. During sleep, familiar English phrases can become more ingrained in your memory. Or, even when you're not actively trying, some learning happens through subconscious absorption. It's about letting your mind do its quiet work behind the scenes, like a gentle current slowly shaping the shore. Another important word to consider is retention. Let's say it together. Retention. Retention refers to the ability to keep or remember information. It's how well your brain holds onto what you've learned over time. When we learn English, our goal is to improve our retention of new words, grammar rules, and phrases. Sleep learning, by reinforcing what you've studied, can significantly help with your retention of English. It helps those new pieces of information stay in your memory for longer. For example, consistent review and sleep learning can improve your retention of new vocabulary. Or, the key to good language learning is not just memorizing, but also strong retention. It's about how much of that beautiful language stays with you comfortably over time. Finally, Let's gently introduce neural pathways. Take a soft breath and repeat, neural pathways. This phrase refers to the connections in your brain. Your brain is an incredible network of cells called neurons, and when you learn something new, these neurons form connections with each other, creating neural pathways. Think of them like tiny roads or bridges in your brain. The more you use a piece of information or practice a skill, the stronger and more efficient these pathways become. Sleep, particularly sleep learning, helps to strengthen these language-specific neural pathways, making it easier and quicker for your brain to access and use English. For instance, every time you hear an English word, you are strengthening its neural pathways in your brain. Or, sleep helps to solidify the neural pathways formed during your waking study. It's about building a robust and efficient internal network, making the journey of language in your mind smoother and more natural. These words, hypnopedia, reinforce, consolidation, passive listening, subconscious absorption, retention, and neural pathways, are like gentle guides. They help us understand the quiet, powerful work our brains do, even as we rest. Understanding them can deepen our appreciation for this gentle way of learning. As we continue this gentle journey into the world of learning and rest, let's take a moment to explore how we talk about things that have happened or are happening right now in a way that feels calm and natural. Sometimes, understanding a small part of how English works can open up a whole new sense of confidence. We're not going to dive into complex rules, but rather feel these patterns softly, like recognizing a familiar melody. I've always found that the quiet moments, the ones just before sleep or when I'm simply reflecting, are when my thoughts feel clearest. Have you ever felt that way? That sense of peaceful observation, where you notice things you haven't before? This feeling connects beautifully with the grammar pattern we often use in English, the present perfect. We use the present perfect to talk about experiences that have happened at some point in our lives, without specifying exactly when. It's also for actions that started in the past and continue up to now, or for past actions that have a result in the present. It's like looking back at a path you've walked, seeing all the gentle footsteps you've taken, without needing to mark each individual step. The structure is quite simple. Have or has, plus the past participle of the verb. For example, when I said, I've always found that the quiet moments are when my thoughts feel clearest, I used I have always found. This means it's an experience that started in the past and continues to be true for me, right up to this very moment. It's a feeling that has been present throughout my life. Think about your journey with English. Perhaps you've already spent many hours listening to podcasts like this. You could softly say to yourself, I have listened to many English podcasts. This doesn't say when you listened, just that it's an experience you've had. Or maybe, my English has improved since I started these calm listening sessions. Here, the improvement began in the past and continues to be evident now. Consider the idea of sleep learning. We might say scientists have discovered a lot about how our brains work during sleep. This means the discoveries happened in the past, but the knowledge is still relevant and true now. Or, this podcast has been designed to help you feel more comfortable with English, indicating a purpose set in the past that continues to serve you now. It's a gentle way to connect your past experiences with your present reality. Now, let's shift our gentle focus to something that is happening right now, or an action that is ongoing. Imagine a quiet river, always flowing, always moving. For this, we often use the present continuous tense. It helps us describe actions that are in progress at the very moment we are speaking, or temporary actions that are happening around the present time. The structure is am, is, or are, plus the verb with ing at the end. As you are listening to my voice right now, your brain is quietly processing these sounds. This is an action that is happening as we speak, a continuous flow of information. You are absorbing as new sounds, new rhythms, even as your body begins to relax more deeply. Think about the process of sleep learning itself. While you are resting, your brain is working to consolidate memories. It's not a sudden event. It's a continuous, gentle process that unfolds over time. Perhaps, as you drift off, your mind is preparing to reinforce the English you've learned today. It's an ongoing activity, a quiet hum beneath the surface of your awareness. For example, the soft music is playing in the background, creating a calm atmosphere. Or, many people are finding a peace in these slow-paced English lessons. These sentences describe actions that are unfolding continuously without a clear beginning or end in the immediate moment. They paint a picture of ongoing activity. So, the present perfect helps us softly reflect on experiences that have shaped us, connecting our past to our present. And the present continuous allows us to describe the gentle, ongoing flow of life and learning happening right now, in this very moment. These grammar patterns are not rigid rules, but rather flexible tools that help us express the beautiful nuances of our experiences and the world around us. They are like gentle currents, guiding our thoughts and feelings through the English language. Now, let's gently bring all these soft threads together, weaving our new words and grammar patterns into the fabric of our nightly routine. We've been talking about how our minds are always learning, even when we're unaware, and how you have been absorbing so much already. The concept of memory, consolidation, isn't just theoretical. It's something your brain is constantly doing, especially during those quiet hours of sleep. So, how can we gently invite this delicate process to reinforce our English even further? It begins not with pressure, but with a sense of calm and intention. Long before you even close your eyes, think of it as preparing your mind for a soft, comforting journey. First, truly allow your body and mind to relax. This is creating the perfect, receptive environment. You might take a few slow, deep breaths, letting go of any little worries or tensions that have accumulated throughout your day. Imagine your mind as a calm lake, its surface still and peaceful. Then choose just a few familiar phrases, maybe 3 to 5, or a very short story you've already studied during the day. This isn't about learning something entirely new, but about revisiting what your mind has already touched, like rereading a favorite, comforting passage from a book. Your brain has already met these words, and now it's time for a friendly reunion. The audio you choose should be deeply calm, something that feels familiar, very slow, and perhaps even a little emotional. Something that resonates softly with you. It should be a voice you have grown to trust, like a quiet companion. This careful preparation is gently telling your brain, these are the pathways I want you to strengthen tonight. As you drift off, gently play that very same content you reviewed. Remember, the true magic of sleep learning, or hypnopedia, is to reinforce what you have already known, not to introduce new complexities. Set a timer for maybe 30 to 60 minutes, not the whole night. Your sleep quality is immensely important, and this focused burst during the early stages of sleep is where much of that vital memory consolidation occurs. Keeping the volume very low, just a whisper in the background, like a gentle lullaby, is key. Soft, calming music can be optional if it helps you feel even more at ease, allowing the words to float subtly into your subconscious. Now, as with any gentle practice, it's also important to softly guide ourselves away from things that might inadvertently hinder this delicate process. One common mistake people have made is using completely new or difficult content while trying to sleep. Your brain is looking for known pathways to strengthen, and we reinforce, not new ones to build from scratch while you're resting. Remember, sleep learning is not about teaching. It's about making existing knowledge stick more firmly. Playing audio all night can disrupt your crucial sleep cycles, especially REM sleep, which is so important for memory. Consolidation. Your body is needing deep, uninterrupted rest, and we don't want to replace that precious recovery with learning pressure. Changing the content every single night also prevents true reinforcement. It's like gently planting a new seed every day without letting the previous one take root and grow. Your brain needs gentle, consistent repetition over several nights to truly solidify those connections. Also, try to avoid fast or overly emotional audio. Your resting mind is seeking calm, not stimulation. It has been shown that such audio can confuse your brain instead of calming it, hindering the quiet process of consolidation. And please, don't expect miracles. Sleep learning has been shown to be a wonderful helper, a quiet assistant, but it is not a magic solution that is going to make you fluent overnight without any active effort during your waking hours. Learning is a journey, not a sprint. Lastly, choosing boring content can weaken those essential emotional memory links. Remember, repetition plus emotion is a powerful combination for stronger memory formation. So, choose something that truly feels good to hear, something that gently resonates within you. While sleep learning is quietly working in the background, making phrases more automatic and gently reducing any fear you might have through familiarity, it doesn't replace active speaking practice during your waking hours. But it has been shown to build a profound sense of confidence and help you feel much more comfortable with natural-sounding sentence structures, almost as if they are simply bubbling up from within you. So, how can you practice this active part gently and without pressure? As you listen to these sentences, perhaps you can softly repeat them after me, just to yourself, or out loud if you feel comfortable enough. For instance, you could whisper, "I have chosen to relax deeply before sleep," feeling the words form. Or, "My brain is preparing to consolidate new words," sensing the gentle activity within. Feel the words on your tongue, even if it's just a whisper. And as we reflect on this, perhaps you can ask yourself, softly, what have I noticed about my own learning process lately? Or, How am I feeling about my English journey right now, in this very moment? These gentle self-prompts are wonderful ways to connect with your progress. You might even consider keeping a small, comforting journal beside your bed. Before you drift off, you could gently write down 1 or 2 simple sentences in English about your day, or how you are feeling about your progress. This gentle act of writing is another quiet way to reinforce what you're learning and build a deeply personal connection with your thoughts in English. It's about making peace with the process, understanding that every little bit of engagement, whether awake or asleep, is steadily building your English garden, slowly and beautifully, one gentle whisper at a time. As we gently bring our time together to a close, I invite you to return to that quiet, comforting space within yourself. Remember how we spoke of your brain as a serene garden, a place of immense potential and gentle growth? Every word we've explored today, every phrase we've lingered on, is like a tiny seed you've lovingly planted in that fertile ground. And nighttime, those precious hours of slumber, is when those seeds truly begin to grow, quietly, without any need for your conscious effort. It's a time of quiet miracles, where fluency is not built with pressure or hurried demands, but with the gentle, consistent repetition, much like watering your garden consistently, day after day, letting each drop nurture the delicate roots. So, the gentle truth we carry from today, the core takeaway, is this: sleep learning cannot replace the active, beautiful engagement you have with English during your waking hours. It won't teach you grammar rules from scratch or make you fluent magically overnight without any speaking practice. That active learning, that brave step of forming words and sentences yourself, is still so incredibly vital. But sleep learning can significantly, profoundly reinforce what you've already studied. It can make your English stronger, calmer, and more confident, like a hidden root system growing deep and sturdy. It makes the familiar feel even more automatic, helps reduce any fear you might feel through gentle, repeated exposure, and quietly builds a foundational sense of comfort with the language. If this quiet journey with me today has helped you feel even a little more confident in your English, if it has brought you a sense of calm about your learning, or perhaps offered a new, gentle path to explore, I would be so deeply grateful if you considered sharing it with someone else who is also learning. Until next time, please take such good care of yourself and always, always keep learning, one gentle whisper at a time.